Life, life be happening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you see this matches. It is I, your girl, Jaquell, and I'm so honored to have.
Adante Washington.
I love that you put that face in
And sometimes get deep. So
this young man, and I'm saying young man, even though we still starting to see a silver fox. This young man and I have went to grade school together, to high school. We were rivals,
yes,
and we were just talking about this before the start. Like, look how when we mature and how God brings everything back into full circle. Because I wanted to bring you on the show. One, for y'all that don't know, he's a motivational speaker. He's a life coach. He's all this, that, and the third. And every day, this man posts amazing, encouraging um, posts on social media platforms, not for recognition, not to make you feel like, oh, you got to read his post or anything, but you come from every perspective. You give something for those that suffer from mental health. You give something for those that are dealing with something spiritually. Sometimes you quote your scripture. Sometimes you just talk about your walks on the where whatever you're doing that day.
right.
And it's always given us a perspective of aligning ourselves, understanding that yes, I may be going through,
Mhm.
because grief always affects us, whether it's a person,
Mhm.
whether it's a place or a thing. It's someone or something that we're affected by. And with that being said, it puts us in a place, especially people of color.
Mhm.
We grew up, what goes in my house stays in my house. Be quiet, don't say nothing. You can't cry as a man. You
Right.
can't be vocal. You can't do
100%.
this. And then now I love seeing, especially when I see men empowering us, men empowering each other,
Right.
men that wants to take that step.
For sure.
So if you could,
Mm.
I always tell people I'm not really the best at introduction, but if you could give us who is, because we call you Dante,
Right.
but who is Adante Washington?
I guess just a collection of all my experiences. I've been blessed, man. Like I went through my down periods in life, like we all have, growing, learning, fumbling, trying to learn and figure out who we are, where our place is in this world. But I've been fortunate enough to travel to over 35 states, 180 cities, like, and just meet people, And when we get outside our comfort zone and just meet those around us, it kind of shows us those different perspectives, and that's
Mhm.
probably why you see those posts coming from every angle. Is because I love human beings on a real level. Like I know that sounds cliche. Like I love everybody. Like no, I
No, I
really
really do.
do love everybody. I might not agree with what you do as a human being, or how you move, or certain actions you have. What they say: the sin, love the
Hmm.
sinner, hate the
Hmm.
sin. Like, but I love people on a genuine level, and just that perspective allows me to approach people differently, and I get more out of them. You know what I mean? Like I've learned so much from just the collection of people I've met. So Adante Washington, in a sense, is just a collection of all these different people I've encountered in my life,
Yeah.
and changing and shaping my perspectives, on different topics and whatnot. I've dealt with loss myself, as we all have. I lost my sister at 23 years old. She was 24. It
Yeah.
was very unexpected. And yeah, it shook me to the core. And I guess that kind of started me down the path to eventually find Christ, and also like just looking at life as like, man, this thing's real. It's
Yeah.
real. It's in your face. Like, and
Yeah.
to appreciate every day, because 24 and think she's gonna die. You know what I mean? But
Mm-mm.
we every day is a gift, and you
Yeah.
gotta be willing to experience that gift for what it is, and look at the light side of things. Look at the silver cloud and the silver lining in each cloud, right? we want to look at all the negatives that's going on, man, when there's so much beauty in this world.
Isn't it?
It is, man.
And so, I wanted to ask you about Cassandra
Hmm.
because, like I said, we all grew up. And
Yeah.
so let me give
Hmm.
context, y'all. We didn't beat each other up every day.
Closer. Very close.
With his what was that jacket that with triple fat goose coats
Yeah.
and stuff? I thought, I don't care about that coat. I don't care about the Hornets. But we still was families growing up.
Yeah.
And I think our first one was, and I think that's when we saw the change in our relationship growing up, was when we were, I think my brother was a senior,
Hmm.
and I think I just came in as a freshman in high school,
Hmm.
and our father died.
Yeah.
And the whole school at this point was like, "What?
Right.
Mr. Gilbert?"
Right.
Because he was the face of the school. My
Right.
father was there. But I think that's when I started seeing people differently, as
Hmm.
far as people do care.
Hmm.
People do have compassion.
Yeah.
And in high school, how do we, from then and then, like the next big shocker to me was the Sana Wala.
Right.
What? I just saw her
Right.
at the store.
Right.
How do we as a culture stop the silence of grieving? Like, stop putting that in our back pocket and just sitting on it. How can we stop that?
Well, I mean, honestly, just by doing it, like, you know what I mean? In all actuality, it's like, yeah, we were taught or conditioned to, hold that pain in,
Yeah.
be strong, be tough, and our culture is very much strong and tough,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to pain, right?
Yeah.
We experience it on so many different levels, right? Um, for me, I kind of always been um, I wouldn't say emotional, but I just didn't see the problem with crying about something. You know what I mean? If it hurt me, like, why am I holding this in? And
Yeah.
after I was done crying about it, like, it always felt better for some reason. Like, I like released that thing. So I guess always, for me, it didn't demasculate me
Mhm.
to cry. Like, if something was in pain, if I was feeling some type of pain. When it comes to my sister's death, like, me and my sister weren't just brother and sister. That was my best friend.
Yes.
We were 15 months apart. We were inseparable. You know, we had plans. She was gonna finish college that year. She passed away. We were moving to Atlanta. All this, we had this plan. Then boom, shocker, right? Just hits me like a ton of bricks. And man, like, I was not gonna cry about that. You know what I mean? Like, you think
Right.
I'm just gonna hold that in? Like, that was my best friend. What do you think I'm? I don't know. It's insane, but like I said, I think society, like, how we kind of view and judge each
Mhm.
other, it's
Mhm.
like you said, oh, men don't cry, or hold it in, be tough, be strong. Man, it's hard to hold all that weight all the time.
Ooh, you said something there.
All the time.
Holding the weight. And like, even with my recent experience,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I tell people in a minute, like, yeah, I went to go see it. I had to go talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, yeah, we have a connection with God. We have a relationship with God. We know who God is. But there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. There's nothing wrong with seeing a counselor or
Mm-hmm.
a life coach like you.
Yeah.
Somebody to give you that's non-biased, that's going to give you something to still hold on to
Yeah.
after I done left the church on Sunday,
Right. Right. Right.
So even with that perspective, they told me that it wasn't just the weight of me losing my husband. I'm holding on to things of losing someone years ago that I didn't know how to let go.
Right.
And so when you talk about, but I allow the society, the new wave of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
not allowing myself to really just be transparent. But how can you when we're brought up in cultures that tell us it's not okay?
Yeah.
You cannot cry. Like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what? I'm
Yeah.
14 years old. My father is laying in the casket, and you telling me you got to be strong. What does strong look like? What is so? I can ask these
Man.
questions now. But
Man.
in those moments, we're scolded for trying to do what? Grieve. We're
Right.
scolded for trying to be ourselves.
Right.
You're probably one of the first people that said it's okay.
Yeah.
I talked to a few sessions ago. I had Pastor Marlon Locke come on there. He was like, "Man, I cried like a baby. Like, man,
Yeah.
since I was just." And,
Yeah.
but you don't hear a lot of men say that
Yeah.
because it's like hard. And then depending on what generation we're coming from,
Right.
it trickles down to another thing. Like someone told my child, "You got to be strong." Your dad. I said, "Don't tell my child that.
Right.
Cry.
Yeah.
Tell people how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm hurting. I'm angry. You
Because
can have these emotions."
100%. Because what did that lead to if he just bottled it up? We know what that does now,
Right.
right?
Right.
The bottled up emotions, unchecked pain, you know what I mean? Like, and then now he's 15 and he's acting out and you don't know why. Well, he never got the grief. You know, our older stepbrother, his mom died in front of him
Oh,
when he was like 6. Freak accident. Like she's using a payphone and standing in some water, right? I mean, how many times you could do that and then nothing happens and then she
right.
gets electrocuted in front of him. Like,
Mm.
and my stepdad, and I don't knock him. He just didn't have the tools either. He comes from an even stronger line of men don't cry, right?
Right.
So my son don't need therapy. My son don't need that. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
he thought he was doing him a solid, but to this day, my older brother is I'm 45. My older brother is 51,
Y'all, it's my
and
bar. He doesn't look like he's 45.
thanks, appreciate that. But yeah, you know, and he's still dealing with the trauma
Oh,
today. Like he's very introverted. You know what I'm saying? He protects himself at all costs from emotional situations because like that pain. But you know, like you said, if you don't allow a person to grieve properly, then that's how it ended up spilling out later. You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, man, we got to kind of get off that, man, and address some of these um uh pain, loss, mental
yeah.
issues we
Yeah.
have off the rip though. Don't let it fester because now it becomes worse. You know,
Yes.
I gotta backtrack and dig and
Mhm.
when was that pivotal moment that started the trajectory to go down this road, right?
Absolutely.
Or it's just you check it in the beginning. Now you know, and we can address it. You said, let him cry. You know.
I love when we, as a culture, can allow us to be ourselves and
Mhm,
not be judged.
mhm,
Um, I think offline we were talking, we were talking about how love is important, relationships are important,
mhm,
and closing chapters before someone passes away
mhm.
is important because offline you said, and I want you to kind of expand on this the comment about how um, you said death is given, like
It's the
we
only
know it's
certainty.
expectation.
Yeah, it's the only certainty. Like we cry when we hear a friend dies
Right.
or a loved one of any capacity dies, right? And but we're all shocked, right? Like, oh, I just was with them yesterday, or I just
Yeah.
seen this person, right? And it's like, yeah, you know, that's always how that's gonna be.
Mm.
It's never. That's not really the shock, right? The shock is the days that we get. Death is a certainty. We will not. I don't care
Can't skip
how,
it.
dude. I don't care how healthy you get. You can be in the best shape of your life and at 150 you still going. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like if
right,
you
right.
if you in shape to the point where you can live to 150 and you won't see 151, it's just coming. Well, it made me think about like I said, after my sister passed away, it numbed me to death, right?
Mm.
Like I was like, man, this is real and it happens. Like it was so close to me, right? At that point, I think the only person I had lost was my grandma, and I was like 6. Like, I didn't
Mm.
understand it, right? But that hurt so much that it almost like so every funeral I've been to after, it's hard for me to cry. Like like I'm not like heartless. I just understand it. That's the day. You know what I mean? And if I ever do feel like recently I was at my uncle John's funeral and what made me tear up that day is seeing the pain on all of his family's face.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like now
Yeah.
I sympathize with that for sure because
Yeah.
I get it. We miss our loved ones,
Mhm.
but as for me, seeing people in that casket don't hit the same after seeing sis in that casket. I'm like, he had a good run. You know what I mean? Like, and one day I'll be sitting in that casket too. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And it's just the reality of it. But we act like death when it comes, it's a shock. Like, oh man, this person died. Like, dude, now I get it. Maybe you go too young, right? So that
Right.
shocks us,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you know, you took my uncle John. He died on his like I think 76th birthday. On his birthday, he passed away. But he passed. He had just had a birthday party that weekend before. He died on a Monday, so that just like 2 days early, we was just all
Wow.
over there. And what I loved was all his family, my cousins, was just around him. Like he was in the bed, like he really couldn't move or anything like that. But the outpouring of love and support for their patriarch, my cousin Bianca sitting in there holding his hand, just sitting with him. Ain't talking to him, just holding his hand. Granddaddy, love you. People coming in and out the room showing their respects. And then he passed away 76 that Monday. And I'm like, man, he won that.
Yeah.
He had a great life. He had a great showing of love and support
Yeah.
around him until his dying day. Like, man, in that respect, I can't be sad. I'm sad, more sad for people who been out of shape with their loved ones right now while they're here. You know what I mean?
Opportunity.
Yeah, because it was his time. Okay. So like I said, I went to that funeral, and first I was fine, and then I started seeing the pain on my family's eye, and that um the pain they was going through, and that's what did it for me. I was like, I had to get up out of there. I'm like, all right, y'all, I gotta go outside real quick.
Just cutting onions.
Yeah. I mean, like, then not that it's like you said, it's okay to cry, but like I said, it was more of what Jesus saw their pain and he wept because he wasn't concerned about the death. He understood I got power over that. But when he saw the pain on them, that hit him. He like, oh. So it's kind of from that respect. Like I see death as just the ultimate guarantee in life.
I don't know how to respond to
that. But it's just ethical. It's truth. I mean, sometimes we don't like to be raw about things, but it's
that's
just
the
truth.
problem. We don't be as what you just put out for just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And let's put this out there. Okay. Yes, I go to church, I do this and I do that. But sometimes it's these kind of nuggets that make you look like. So now stuff start clicking of conversations that my husband had prior, prior to the situation that happened. It makes me think, because they thought, they were trying to test me for breast cancer. And he's like, baby, you're going to live a long time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he took my phone when they went to go do the procedure. And he said, when this happens to me, it's almost as if like some people just kind of get that knowledge of like, I feel like something's happening. Let me prepare. And those are like, that's wisdom. That's knowledge. But we as the other people, the recipient of it, we be like, but why? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And everybody's situation isn't the same.
Right. 100%.
But I think as a culture, as families, as this and that, we become very against each other a lot of times, depending on how a person passed away, or if they passed, and was it something that they had, or can I have that
unresolved? Yes, all kind of weirdness.
Yeah, and so you're this amazing motivational speaker, leader. So I'm telling you right now, I got to do a part two. But I have to. This right here just messed me up. But understanding that we are all going to. I mean, we know that we're all.
And you know
this.
This.
But you just broke down something that was so like. If we understand that this person has gotten themselves together, they did everything possible, even if maybe back in the day they didn't have the best life, but at some point there was a resolution.
Right.
We should not have the guilt in our heart. And I think that was an issue that I had, even with the loss of my husband. Like, could I have done this more? Could I have been there for him more? Could I have done this and that? Could I have done? And then you checking off like the boxes of yes, you was the wife, you were doing this. Can you give?
Right.
Why do we have this guilt that comes with when someone passes away, as if, and I'll say sometimes the enemy do play with our mind.
Yeah.
To make us feel like you weren't good enough.
100%.
I'm pretty sure when Asanawa passed, thoughts
the
started playing with
deceiver?
your mind.
Oh yeah. The deceiver? Yeah, he'd do it.
Y'all argued every day, or y'all did. I'm just saying.
Like for instance, right? Yeah. Like, okay, so let me back it up. So to the point where like you saying your husband always like giving you indicators, right? Dude, my sister told me like 3 separate times like she was gonna die. She said, when I die, I know where I'm going. And like you know how we just talking about something. We talking about, oh man, the Packers need playing good. Hey, I know where I'm going when I want to die. I'm like, wait, what? Like this is out of context of what we're talking about.
What that got to do with
exactly.
the game?
And guess what? 50 years from now when that happens, cool.
Right.
I'm glad you know where you're going. And she said it over the course of a year, 3 separate distinct times. And then when she passed away, now here comes the guilt, right? So she was in the hospital the day before she passed. And dude, I'm telling you, if anybody knows me and my sister's relationship, my sister had asthma real bad. So she would go to the hospital quite often for breathing treatments or whatever. And dude, I go up there every time crying, like, "It's okay, dude." And she'd be sitting up in the bed laughing, like, "Dude, dude, like, relax." And I'm like, "Shut up!" Like, so the last time she went in was the first time I didn't rush up there crying. I said, "She good. This is normal. This is what happens, right?" And finally, my cousin, like, "You need to go see your sister." I'm like, okay. She was at St. Joseph. I stayed 2 blocks away. I'm like, say no more. So I go up there, and my sister, like, so she was in a self-induced coma, right? Like that, like they put you in a coma type thing because they would had tubes down her throat. And they say they can hear you still. Dude, when I came in the room and she heard my voice, she started like
trying to move.
Yeah, like, and I was like, dude, she has not done this since she's been in the hospital. And and they like, dude, and even the doctor said, you know how much strength it's taking her to do this? Like, we have her out and this lady is moving her muscles, right?
Fully sedated, like
type. Yeah. So for me, what sat in my spirit and what was hard for me was I felt like she was warning me to tell him to get, you know what I mean? Like, I should have did more.
Yeah.
She was telling me to tell them to stop doing what they doing to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is the tricks we play in our brain, right? Like, man, she was trying to warn me that the doctors was doing some mess and yada yada yada, you know. And then it was a whole thing about her autopsy and the doctor not getting back to us about it. Just seemed real suspect, her death. Like, and
it didn't make sense.
It didn't. But so what's crazy is I started like blaming myself for not doing something when I saw something. And at that point I was heavily into the streets, so it was street justice. I was all like, oh no, I do want to see me about my sister. But it was her words, of her kind of letting me know where she was going, and she had kind of directed my path to Christ. Right at that point, I wouldn't even consider myself a follower. I would go to church because she would. You know what I mean? Right. But really, that's your thing. It says, I just love you and I'm gonna go. But it just kind of started your trajectory, right? Like, so there's a group called Elevation Worship. I know you listen to them. So like they got this song Million Miracles, Little Miracles, right? And he said, even in the death of my brother, he was like, I can't even count them all. It's like he counted that a miracle that his brother died.
That messed me up.
What?
That messed me up.
But and now at this point, it's like 20 years since sis passed. So now this is a whole nother perspective and insight, right?
Come on.
Why is that a miracle that my brother died? Like, hold on, I gotta unpack this, right? So I started reading, searching, and it came to me, epiphany. He said, had my sister not, sister not passed away, would I have found Christ? You get what I'm saying? And his ultimate goal is for all of us to come to him, right? So even if I gotta allow, I didn't cause, I allow these things to happen to get you to look here, it's worth it. It's worth it. On this, when you see what I got for you, it's worth it. And it's just another perspective. And it was probably the first time in 20 years I had coped with it, dealt with it. For the first time in 20 years, I was like, I accept it. And I like kind of fully let it go and just thank him. I even thanked him for it. I was like, man, thank you for taking her. Because eventually it led to me to where I'm at now in my life. You know what I mean? And I know she will be proud of me today. You know what I mean? Like, so my mom, they always joke, she up there in Jesus' ear, just like, hey, whatever you got to do, get him up here. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, stop talking to him because he's putting
Right.
some pressure on me
Oh.
down here. Like, you know, but like I said, you know, and then to be able to joke about it today, you know, like it just comes with healing with time. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I mean, I'm saying it very macabre, but at the same time, I also understand like that pain of loss. Like,
Absolutely.
I ain't trying to like, oh man, everybody died. Like, no, it's just how I process. But I understand that feeling of loss and pain, and it hurts you to the core. You gotta cry sometimes. You gotta, you know, you gotta lay on that couch and kind of wallow in it for a few days, you know. But you know, get back up too.
Man, that is so helpful because that guilt part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I seeing my husband, bringing him some dinner, bringing him some lunch. He's being silly, our normal routine, whatever. And he's in the back and we're talking to our child. And then he was like, baby, I gotta go make a few runs and I'll be home.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be a typical conversation.
Right.
But this time I said, baby, just come straight home.
Right.
Babe, it's gonna be only a few minutes. And then, he's FaceTiming us because my uncle was in town.
Okay.
So we're talking to our uncle because at that time we were talking about moving to Arizona.
Okay.
And so Uncle Tony was big because he's living out there. He's telling us, oh, you got to come here. I want you to try this city, that city, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. We're going to go scout the land. And so the guilt from that, my baby grabs the phone and he was like, baby, as soon as Daddy get home, we're going to put that Lego set together. My baby love Lego. Okay. And so I get the phone. He's like, baby, I love you, this and that and the third, the typical. Mm-hmm. But in the car conversation that we had, I just kind of looked at him, like you said, differently because the conversation was different. Mm-hmm. Why did my husband really was adamant about rededicating his life? Why was my husband adamant about us being, having Bible study at home? Because I was out of church for almost a whole year. Okay. But God had me doing stuff at home. Right. He said, your ministry is at home. Yeah. So, like God put us in a place to where we had to do what we needed to do. Right. But the guilt does come in. Oh, yeah. Well, why didn't you tell him to come straight home? Why did you tell him to do this? You know what I'm saying? Right. You could have saved him. You could. Yeah. You can't. He's a grown man. Okay. My husband at that time was 49. I can't tell no get out. He's a grown man, and I still respect him as such as my husband because when he say, "Baby, I'm making 3 runs. I'll be home." Right. He will make a few runs and come home. Right. But that night I couldn't sleep. Right. That night I just felt different things. It just, people talk about out of body experience, all that stuff, feeling that. You know. Yeah. But now where I'm at, the acceptance hits different. I'm like, thanks God. My marriage to him was to get him saved. That's a slap in the face. Well, Lord, could we have this discussion prior to we got together? Right. This was the purpose of us being together was to get him saved. Right. The ironic day that we met, I was doing a photo shoot. Not and that's why I said that conversation in our car when I was at his job was just weird. Okay. Do you know that I was walking down the street praying to God? I want a wife that's in church. I want a wife that's this and that. And I'm being silly, getting ready to do a photo shoot. About to bust my head with some red stilettos, trying to put them on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Being silly. And I'm talking about, I'm walking away from him talking about, all right, don't let this blood of the vine get you. Right. But that we laughed about that conversation, not knowing that would be the last face-to-face conversation that we have. Right. And I know that things happen in spurts, and I know that people, places, and things happen because I gotta have you for a part 2. Because I want us to talk about the struggles that we dealt with after someone leaves our life. Okay. Because mine was after my husband left, I didn't work. Right. I couldn't work. It was other stuff that happened financially that was going on. It was like a calamity. It felt. But I still had this peace. Yeah. God telling me to do a podcast. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. This podcast is from my husband. Right. He was like, babe, we should do this. You in the master's, you about to graduate. You should do this, you do that. You're gonna be a great counselor, but I think they should see you. And I'm like, so what you gonna be doing? Sitting on the side eating chicken or something. Whatever. I'm gonna give you the ideas and stuff. Because like I would give him ideas of jokes and stuff on Facebook, and he would do the reverse of this and that and the third. But I want us to talk about. So y'all have to come back for part 2 because Mr. Adante Washington, this amazing motivational. If y'all can't even catch it now, you gotta get him in. I know he said that he's been national, but I want to speak that he's going to go global, constantly. Yeah, yeah, global, global. Get your passport ready
Mm,
and go across the world to teach. It's the next generation.
yeah,
Where are we? How can we speak life into them? Because
yes,
I know that what
that's
we
it.
will feel is heavy.
Right.
You know, my 5-year-old has God has used him to speak life and to
Right.
help me in some dark areas that we face.
Hmm.
So yes, I need y'all to come back for part two. So as I get ready to close, I'm gonna let you close us out today. Something inspiring, something that could help lift us up
Well,
until our take two.
okay. Well, like you said, you hit the key. It's like speaking life into others. It's like one thing I love about my friend group is we don't have a problem lifting each other up.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
my friend, shout out to Brad Fax and KB Several Levels. These guys, like, man, they are so motivating, and
Okay.
they're always motivating each other. They both do music, so they're always each other's cheerleader, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't take anything away from them to give another person their flowers. And
Absolutely.
we got this world we live in. We're so self-absorbed and we're worrying about what's going on in our own lives. I think sometimes, man, we gotta take things a little slow things down, man. Like almost like slow motion, so you can see better, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, but also, just lead with love and be positive, man. I'm telling you, it shapes you. It will, and it pays you back. It comes
Yeah.
back in tremendous form if you continue to put it out. And some days I don't feel like it. Some
Yeah.
days I really do not feel like being positive, smiling. But it's something as simple as putting a smile on your face on days you don't feel like it,
Come on.
because it attracts so much positive to you. I actually had somebody stop me the other day out there where I stay at, and it was like, dude, you always smile. I'm like, what is it to be depressed about?
Mm.
There's always something that I can probably find if I want to be upset about, but also I can take that same energy and find something positive. So I think that's the takeaway. Like, lead with love and keep a smile on your face and put positive energy out there, man. Call some of your friends you ain't talked to in a while and just tell them, man, they you proud of them. It's something simple. It'd be simple stuff like that you can do to keep yourself in a good space and that positive energy, but also those around you. If we all vibing on a positive connection, can't nothing but some good come of it, right? But if I'm letting my emotions and my bad days spill over into you, that can trigger your bad day too.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like all our job to keep us in that space, right? Like, I know
Absolutely.
it sounds very cliche, but it sounds very simple, and it is. But it takes a conscious effort to actually do it, right?
And with that, folks, I ain't got nothing else to say because he done said it all. So until next time, you won't give up, you won't give in, you will not abort what has been predestined over your life. You will not go and subdue until diverse temptations. You will overcome it all. Until next time, stay amazing. Have a great day.